Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Shauna here from Storani Careers, and I am joined by my team member, Tiago. We are joining you this evening to wrap up 2023 and get everybody ready for 2024. So, before we jump in, Tiago, thank you so much for joining me for this evening's live. Tiago is joining us in place of Tana this evening, but it's a really good opportunity for any of you that haven't worked with Tiago yet to become familiar. So Tiago, before we dive into our topic this week, can you
Sure.
introduce yourself a little bit, please?
Thank you very much, Shauna. Yes. Well, I used to be client in the past, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here in Dublin, in Ireland, for the last 4 years, and did my masters last year. I finished and work as recruiter since February this year here, and since May, working with you guys.
Yeah. Tiago is a very welcome addition to our team. So Tiago's been with us this year, and it's been amazing to see the change in the team. And we were a team of all girls, and it's so fantastic with Tiago and Leandro to see how the team has reformed and taken shape. So Tiago is a really valued member of our team. So thank you so much for being with us this evening. And Tiago brings a unique perspective, guys, because he is an active recruiter. So lots of recruiter insights. We pick his brain on a regular basis. So you're very welcome. And this live will obviously be saved for anyone who is not joining us this evening. So you will get a chance to revise and look back at this. But really what we're covering tonight is, as I said, we are at the end of the year. We have made it. It is December and we're on our last weeks of work. So I'm sure everyone is tired and energy levels are low and everyone is ready for the Christmas break. So really this live is just to look at how do we finish the year on a high and how do we step into a new year with our goals in mind, with things that we want to achieve, and how do we keep ourselves motivated to do so. So Tiago,
But
toward the end of the year, are you someone who makes New Year's resolutions, or how do you close the year and enter a new year?
I used to do actually. I'm not that good anymore, but usually every beginning of December was like putting the list, all the things that I should do, etc. And I was comparing with, like, previous years what I have done or not, but then I just
It's a good idea.
I should have
It's
considered doing that, but no, yeah.
well, it's funny because January, the end of the year and the beginning of the next, it's a really good time, I guess, if for nothing else, to reflect. Even if you're not somebody who's very good at goal setting, at least use it as an opportunity of reflection.
Yeah.
So when you look
Last
back
year,
at your year from a
last year, what I've done, I said, okay, 2023, I'm gonna start a career in my area in Ireland. That's what I had my list, and since October last year. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you achieved your goals.
Yes, after 5 months. Actually, I started the third January when I came back from Brazil, and then
Well,
February.
technically, you've overachieved your goals because you have two jobs in Ireland. So you've overachieved on your goals.
True.
So it's really good. I think even if it's whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, to
Yeah.
just be reflective and say, okay, when I look back on this year, what was a high or what felt like a win? What felt like something positive that I got out of this year? And then going into the next year, what do I hope to deliver for myself, whether that's professionally or personally? And it doesn't have to be huge goals. In fact, what we find in terms of staying motivated and keeping morale high is to have achievable goals. So don't be over ambitious, okay? Imagine if you've just arrived into the
small,
country.
the small targets, the small things that we're planning to do is easier instead of like just
Absolutely.
true.
Absolutely, because when you look at the success cycle and what motivates the next step and achieving is that sense of achieving or ticking the box. So if you've just arrived in Ireland and maybe you feel your language isn't where you want it to be, okay, maybe you're not going to set the goal of I want to be a lawyer in 6 months. So maybe we're going to pull it back and we're going to take baby steps. But as you achieve each goal and you get the satisfaction of ticking that box, it recharges your energy to put you forward to your next goal. So try to think about that for 2024. What is an achievable goal for you? Some people that's going to be around language, others it's going to be upskilling in technologies or tools, other people it's going to be a promotion or a pay rise. Whatever that looks like for you,
Yeah.
get it down on paper and with a clear guideline as to how to get there. So we're going to cover some of those steps, as in what are the best things, the top 10 things you can do for yourself stepping into 2024 as a professional. So before we dive into our list, Tiago, what is your 2024 goal?
I was not expecting this question.
You're not prepared.
I have actually, but I'm not ready to share, to be honest.
Ah, okay. So it's a secret goal for the moment.
Kind of personal, yes.
Oh, that's fair.
So
For
for
me,
prof-
my 2020.
to be fair, like last week, funny because last week we are developing the KPIs for 2024 in the office, and today is Monday. Last
Uh-huh.
Wednesday we just had a last meeting, like okay, we have here that goal established, so let's work around that. All the areas like
Hmm.
HR, marketing, sales, BD,
Hmm.
operations. Nice.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you feel by your targets? Do you feel
Uh,
challenged or excited or scared?
it's actually because Xserif just started in Europe this year,
Hmm.
so I think like 2023, the goals were much more aggressive than for next year, I would say.
Mm,
So like my
yeah.
main task was like recruit a lot of consultants to our roster. What I have done,
Ah.
so like
Hmm.
I almost reached the target, like for X amount of consultants.
Hmm.
So I kind of I will depend on what sales team will bring to us, the BDs, and then like depending
Of
on
course.
my targets will get bigger or not. But we are fine so far.
Fingers crossed. Well, I think that's the good thing about a good goal or a good target is that it's equal measures, achievable, but with a significant challenge. So you're still pushing yourself, but it's not so far out of your grasp that you feel demotivated if you don't get it. And I think for those of you that work in target focused roles, 2024 will see a much more achievable goal set because 2023 has been an across the board multi-industry a tough year. So I think next year, a lot of companies are going into the year with a slightly lower bar. Whereas I think 2023 was quite a shock for a lot of people because we were still considered very post pandemic. But those targets were very aggressive because despite the economic and global situation, 2021 across the board was quite a high revenue year. So you were feeling that extra stretch of pressure this year. But next year, I do believe across board, targets are a bit more achievable and a bit more within reach. So hopefully you
Yeah.
feel the benefit of that. For me, going into 2024, my goal is around linguistics. I would like to up my level of French to the next level of proficiency. And then within my own role, I would like to get a bit more comfortable with business development because it's an area that I'm not incredibly strong at,
Not
and an
easy.
area that if I not easy, and an area if I allow myself I will hide from because I don't feel confident in doing it. So it's definitely for me, I would like to push myself to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of developing new business rather than just cultivating existing business or warming up business or potential lead. So that's my personal goal
Ask
for
me
next
again.
year.
Ask me again. Ask me again.
Okay, Tiago, what is your goal for 2024?
Help our clients to get their jobs here in Europe.
Ah, there you go. Great one. Very good. And it's so satisfying. I think that's probably one of the most satisfying parts of our job is when
Yeah.
we receive text messages and emails to say that our clients have had success following our services. So that's a really good goal to have and a very satisfying one as well. So we're going to jump straight into what we would say are some of, I guess, the key steps that you can take as job seekers or people who are within your role but maybe looking to expand or to develop a little bit further. What are some steps that you can put in place so that you grab 2024 strong and hopefully have a good opening to the year? So, just beginning the list with a really obvious but important one is the update of your resume. So, as a recruiter and as a career consultant, we can't tell you enough how important this is. Your resume is your gateway to your career. When we say resume, we're talking, of course, about your CV. So, it is really important that you have a CV that reflects skills, experience, achievements, and that it is tailored to the kind of career that you're looking for. So there's no point in having a rusty old CV that talks about customer service if you're actually trying to break into web development. That's not going to work for you at all. Even if it's a beautiful customer service CV, if it is not designed for your desired area, it's not going to take you very far. So having a very clear idea of what you want and creating a CV that propels you in that direction is going to be the first essential step. And I would always say to my job seekers, before you send one application, before you start reaching out to connections on LinkedIn, press the pause button, review your professional CV, review your LinkedIn. If that's not in order, you need to get that sorted out before you take the next step. So for me, that would be a very important first step.
Definitely. And connected with the LinkedIn, right? Should
Yeah,
be like kind of not copy paste, but should be reflecting each other. And
yeah,
LinkedIn, you should have like a proper picture. LinkedIn
yeah.
is
Oh,
not
yes.
Instagram, right? So
Yeah.
nice summary, some nice background on the top. So you should be
Hmm.
much professional as we should be. I think
Yeah.
that, yeah. And also like LinkedIn, you shouldn't adapt per role. You should have like a
Hmm.
more broader
Hmm.
information in your LinkedIn, like all the details that from your professional career. But then if we're gonna
Yeah.
apply for, position X, Z, Y, uh, tailor made the CV according to the job description.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there, I guess, the two foundations
Yeah,
of your job search, and then just expanding on from Tiago's point about LinkedIn, expanding your network and knowing how to do that in a way that brings value. There is no point because Tiago will tell you as a recruiter, I'm sure every day he opens up his LinkedIn, he has at least 10 connections that he's like, who are you? Why do you want to connect with me? What is the point? What is the value? Knowing with whom to expand your connections and how to do it is so important because it's not just what you know, it's who you know. So it's the connections that you make, the people that you connect with, how you exchange with them. So really understanding how to network in a way that brings value.
be strategic with the people that you're gonna add to your network. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, I don't recruit for IT. My company is totally
Mhm.
different. And then I received an invitation. Oh, I saw that you recruit for IT, so please connect with me.
Mm,
This
yeah. So exactly.
copy paste doesn't help.
Yeah, you have to know your audience and know who you're connecting with because as job seekers, Tiago, we actually had a live last week with Tana and it was people sharing their frustrations about recruiters, and one of the feedbacks was, oh, recruiters reach out to me for jobs that are not relevant to my industry. So if that's annoying for you as a job seeker, then you've got to understand on the other side
Yes, the same.
it's frustrating for the recruiter as well. So
Yeah.
try where possible to make sure that you're reaching out to the right people. Otherwise, you're just wasting time and blocking up inboxes. So it's really important that you understand how LinkedIn works and understand how to find the decision makers that can actually be beneficial for you. If not, like I said, it's an exhausting exercise. It's not really going to bring any results.
Yeah.
Um,
And we
so
also,
then in terms then
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, it was just to say, what would be then for you beyond expanding and working your network? What would be another point for you, Tiago, that you feel would be a good goal for 2024?
Well, um, I think it's like very depends on which skills all the people need to attack, like to develop.
Mm,
Say for people that come to like to Ireland or to Europe, and their goal is professional, international career, international job here, and they're not prepared at least for the language, you should be
mm-hmm.
your priority before everything. Should be like at least you need to know how to communicate or
Yeah,
be understandable because you're not fluent. You live in France, you know how hard it is. Like you're Brazilians, you live in Ireland, so difficult for most of us and people that come here without any kind of decent level of English. So I think the
yeah.
priority should be improve your language skills. Should be like the first
Mm,
one because like even in Brazil when I was hiring for multinational companies, uh, the clients they were not hiring the best candidate. They were hiring the candidate that could that was being more understandable in English. And
Mm-hmm.
like the best technical skills the candidate had.
Yeah.
But was someone that could communicate with their future bosses.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, it makes sense. So
Mm.
do what needs to do. If that means pausing your goal, if you've just arrived and saying, look, I'm giving myself 6 months to work in a customer focused role. I don't care if it's not what I'm looking for in the long term. First, I got to get myself at a level where I can communicate effectively.
Yes.
That's a really good
Don't
point.
be shy, and don't be shy because everyone's gonna
Yeah.
commit mistakes. Just
Yeah,
commit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. As an expat and an international, we've all, and I can say the same for me here, it's you have to be comfortable to make a fool out of yourself because you're learning, right? You're learning. So you're going to make mistakes. The language is going to be confused. You're going to use the wrong tense. It's okay. You're learning and that's okay. And the best way to get to a level of comfortable proficiency is to first get used to conversation. Conversation. So anywhere that you can immerse yourself, I would imagine, is so important in the workspace.
Yeah.
I think then, I guess, in a as a complement to that is really making sure that you're bringing up your online presence as well. So whether that is learning to be comfortable with interacting, again, looking at LinkedIn predominantly, but interacting with blog posts, reading articles, so
All
kind
platforms. Yeah.
in around the company or around your industry. So if you're a big tech person, make sure you're following all of the big tech companies in Dublin. Read the articles because when they're sharing articles, it's about news. Maybe they've got a big merger or they've a new CEO or they've just expanded another European office, or get to know what's happening, because the more you read, and I guess this links into language, the more you engage and read content in English about companies in Ireland, for example, the more comfortable walking into an interview situation is going to feel for you, because that language will be familiar. The
Yeah.
conversation will be familiar. It means that you can take your interviewing to the next level rather than just talking about the job at hand. You can
Yeah.
actually engage with the recruiter in a much more natural way. So I do think, being present online, and when we're talking about online, guys, we're obviously talking predominantly about LinkedIn.
Fairs, everything online. Like for example, this Thursday we're gonna have a webinar between US and Europe in a company. So we invited all the clients, all the consultants to be part of the
Yes.
talk about automotive sector, logistics
Yeah.
actually. So and then people can interact with us and with our directors, with our president, founder. So it's a very good way
Yeah.
to start your networking or your business
Yeah.
development sometimes without being there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, to have a job for me. So it's something natural.
That's a really good idea, actually. And if you're ever present for that kind of thing, if you've been invited, go have a presence and
And
try
see,
and find the name. Yeah, reach out to the recruiter that invited you or the person and said, oh, I would love to have the attendee list. Could you share the names? I'd love to connect with them on LinkedIn. Take it to the next level. Like, remember, LinkedIn has done a wonderful thing for job seekers and for recruiters and consultants. It's opened up a door that we never would have been able to open before. It's made communication possible with people that ordinarily you never would have had the chance to speak to. So utilize it. It's a tool. Ultimately, if a person's profile is open and public, it means that it's open for you. So don't think it's like you're knocking on a door that someone won't open. It's true. Maybe they won't respond, but LinkedIn has made it possible that at least you can knock the door, which I think is an amazing opportunity. When I worked in a recruitment agency, people were still dropping their CV in paper through to the reception desk. They'd never have a chance to talk to the recruitment consultants. They were just talking to the reception. They'd never get through to the consultant. Now we have an opportunity to actually try and build a relationship with consultants. So that's an amazing bonus
Mhm.
when you look back to a few years ago. What else for you, Tiago? What would be some other goals that you would set if you were sitting down to review your career for next year?
I would say also, well, that's very particular also, but like for me, it works pretty well. I like to work with targets. So
Yeah.
when I was hiring people like for logistics, engineering, manufacturing, supply chain management, so I had targets for those candidates, like
Mm-hmm.
how many interviews I should do per week in order to have
Mm-hmm.
candidates hired per month. So I think if you
Oh,
break
yeah.
in small targets, in our weekly targets, something that's very interesting. So how many connections we're gonna do per day, per
Yeah.
month, how many messages you're gonna send, how many jobs you're gonna
Yeah.
apply. I think this works pretty well. If you break in small targets, uh, won't be easy.
Yeah, of course.
Say that is I'm lying, but it's something that helps. If you are
Yeah.
applying for 10 positions and nobody's replying in you, go for 15, go for 20, go for
Mm,
do it like every day, like a full-time role, like job search
yeah.
easy, especially when you're like overseas.
Mm,
If you don't have the visa, if you're not European, like so we have so many uh, stuff that you have that are counting against us. So you need to make
yeah.
your efforts double, or sometimes three times more. So
Yeah. It's a really good idea about having a target actually, because I think most of us
quickly, yes,
perform better when we have a target to hit, when
that
we're under pressure. Like most people are more productive when they're super busy. Most people make the most mistakes and lose morale when when there's not much work. And then you get one client and you're like, okay, and you take your time because you're not under pressure. But most of us perform much better when we have a little bit of pressure on our head. So, like Tiago said, if you set out a weekly target for yourself regarding how many companies you're going to follow, how many recruiters you're going to connect with, how many CVs you're going to submit, if you notice yourself not achieving those targets, it's a really good way to give yourself a bit of a kick in the backside and get moving again.
or what's wrong? What's wrong? Maybe your CV is not well developed, which you
100%.
modeling the CV. Maybe the target, the audience that you are trying to connect is not your audience. You're doing something wrong,
Yeah.
but you have data to
Yeah.
understand what's going wrong. When I
Yeah.
was in recruitment agencies, we have like the monthly KPIs revenue. So to
Yeah.
reach $X thousand per month, how many interviews should I do? So just go like
Mm.
towards, this is something that also works pretty well.
And it's really interesting because we can even bring that, I suppose, that standard back to ourselves as your career consultant. One of the first questions we ask to our clients if they feel they're not having success is, okay, clearly tell us what you've done. How many CVs have you sent? To whom have you applied for? What have you done? Because if you don't have that data in front of you, there's no way to analyze to do it better the next time. So you need to have that kind of material to know what your next step is. It's a really good point actually, is having like clear goal setting.
Finds people that are
Um
very experienced and they are applying for entry level position. Like forget
yeah,
the won't
yeah,
go for entry level or for intern because they have much more
yeah,
experience. So you need to understand what we're doing wrong. Like a little
100%.
and sometimes is good.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think as well, when you're identifying as well, when you're sitting down to reflect upon the year that's just passed,
Yeah.
it's a good time as well with sales and with, you'll find most online learning resources and labs and portals will do a discount, like a January sale type thing. So it's
Mm.
an interesting time to actually look at your skill set and say, okay, well, what am I lacking? You know, have I done an official certificate in the latest GDPR regulations? Or, you know, do I know how to work Scrum, but am I certified in it? Or, you know, I know for project management they use Trello, but I don't know how to use that. Can I take a course?
Yeah.
Look at your industry and ask yourself, what is the hottest tool, technology, methodology? What's the newest thing? What's the biggest thing? What's the most in demand thing?
Yeah.
Can I get myself upskilled in that area? And then you use it as a time to say, look, January's quiet. Nobody's seeing each other. Nobody's going out. Everyone's staying home. I'm going to use the month of January to complete two certificates or one certificate, and give yourself, use it as an opportunity to bring your CV to the next level and fill up any gaps that might exist, whether it's a tool, a technology, a skill, a methodology. Try to fill those gaps during that time.
Perfect. That's it. Especially for people that they have January, February, winter here. Everyone's locked at home. Perfect in time, like
Yeah,
time to
totally.
develop yourself. Go like online. You have so many platforms, so many courses that sometimes they're
Yeah.
free. If you have the premium license, LinkedIn, you have like a bunch of lists of courses that you can do it because we're paying 30, 40 euro per month. So
Exactly. So the amount of people that have premium or LinkedIn premium and don't do the courses, and it's it for
there's
me, it is one of the best ways to make that 30 euro actually be a valuable 30 euro, because recruiters check those courses. They're internationally recognized. They're really good at filling up skill gaps. And if your CV, if you have a big gap and you don't know what to put, you can actually say period of time used to development, completed courses in XYZ. It's a great way to close up gaps on your CV. So if you have LinkedIn Premium and you haven't been using the LinkedIn Learning side of it, do it, because if not, you're seriously, it's a waste of cash if you're not.
Definitely. I agree with you.
So what would be your, I guess, your way to close 2023? What would be your word of motivation, or, you know, for clients that either have worked with us or
Don't give
thinking
up.
of working with us?
I would say don't give up, because I know the market's pretty
Yeah.
tough. It's pretty hard. A lot of people are being laid off. I know
Yeah.
for a lot of people, this Christmas won't be nice.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Like, put yourself ready for next year. Put
Yeah.
put on paper, like put something that you want to do in a notebook. Put like in
Yeah.
front of you sometimes. Put on a wall. Put something that you can see. Put like on your mobile. Put your
Yeah.
targets of you, and then you can see every day and
Yeah.
motivate yourself. I know sometimes it's hard, it's difficult, but nobody's gonna do for you, right? Uh,
100%.
for example, HR is horrible at the moment here in Europe. A
Yeah.
recruiter,
It's hard.
so many people being laid off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need
Yeah.
to,
It's true.
right, take a break, relax,
Yeah.
breathe, and then attack the market.
Yeah.
Have,
And remember, guys, where we're seeing a global slump, it's not personal to you. We are seeing this, Tiago's seeing it as a recruiter. We're seeing it as career consultants. This is a global slump, multi-industry slump. We're seeing recruitment has slowed down. You have to remember, like we're saying this all the time, but it's just to reaffirm that it's not reflective of you. The
yeah,
market is low. We are post-pandemic. There are two wars happening at the moment. Obviously, we've got Russia, Ukraine, we have a Middle Eastern conflict. All of these political happenings have a huge impact economically and financially. So to think that these things might be happening far away from us, it has a knock-on effect. But think of one of the biggest financial crashes that we've had within our professional life, you know, looking at 2008, 2009, we came back, and we came back stronger than ever. So what we're seeing at the moment, it's not finite, or it's finite, should I say. It's not an infinite crash. It will come to an end. There will be a recovery. And what
yeah,
we always see, the people who are most successful after a period of downturn are those that have kept motivation high, who have upskilled, who have networked, who have allowed themselves to remain competitive. Because when the market improves, and it will, it's not just you that will be looking for a job, it's many others. So
try to be
being competitive is
updated.
so important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be updated. Try as much as possible. Small targets. I think this is like the
Yeah.
main tip for next year.
Totally. Achievable targets.
Achievable.
And
Yeah, that's true.
because if you don't achieve them, if you set it too high and you don't achieve it, then your morale instantly falls back down into your boots. So what's so important is keeping yourself accountable, whether that's achieving certain goals, but making them bite-sized goals. Because if I decided, like, I'm in France now, 6.5 years, I'm still not at a fluent level, because obviously to be considered fluent, it has to be written, spoken, reading, everything has to be perfect. If I arrived and 1 month later I decided, Shauna, in 6 months you're going to be fluent, my motivation would be so low.
Rest.
So
Yeah,
yeah, you'd be totally depressed and demotivated, and you'd say, actually, I don't want to do that. I'm going to put that goal to the side. It's not achievable. I'm not good enough. So
yeah.
get rid of that mentality, make it achievable, make it bite size, and most of all, make it something that you hold yourself accountable. So as Tiago said, track it, keep an eye on it, review it. And if you're not achieving it, ask yourself why. Is it a skill deficit? Is it something that you can get help with, somewhere where we can step in and help you? Or is it just generally reflective of the market? But if you're not tracking that data, you'll never have the answer. So do
You need to do
keep
like a
yourself accountable.
analysis about your
100%.
what is
Yeah,
what's wrong,
100%.
what to improve, which risks do I have, right?
Yeah, exactly. So some of the questions, because we do ask clients to send in some of the questions, and a lot of them had the kind of a similar vein, and it's, if I'm not achieving the kind of goals that I had for myself, does it mean I need to change direction of the type of role that I'm looking for? I think it's very difficult without having a one-to-one consultation for us to give that answer, right? Because we need to see the bigger picture. We need to see your education.
Yeah.
We need to see your experience, your skill set. Are you eligible? Is it a need right now in the market that we really need people like you? Or is it the opposite, that there is an oversupply of people skilled in this area and there's not enough jobs to fulfill it? So for
Yeah.
anyone who sent that question in, and it's a common question, the best thing to do right now, we have the option of a free CV review on our website. Submit your profile through that free CV review. And at least that's the first step, where you can get some feedback from a professional to tell you what needs to happen on your profile. And then after that, it is much more of a one-to-one conversation to see how we can possibly step in and help you achieve your goal.
Could be just your CV, could be the market that you're applying, could be the country that you're
Yeah.
applying, right?
Yeah. 100%. Like, there's always that example. Such a skilled guy, such a skilled. He had his bachelor, he had a postgraduate, he had 10 years of experience. He'd been in Dublin, was super deflated because the industry he was looking for was in automotive manufacturing.
Oh my God.
Wrong country. Wrong country. This is
One,
never going to happen. Yeah. And it was not reflective of the CV. It was not reflective of the candidate. He was a great candidate, but we don't have that industry in the country. So you also have to know, guys, am
yeah.
I in the right place for my area? That is a huge, huge, huge question, because not every country has got the same sectors that are booming. So you really need to be familiar with what's happening in the country you're in, and can your skills satisfy those professional needs?
What happens in Ireland? What happens in Netherlands? What happens in Malta, in
Yeah.
Italy, in Germany, in Spain? You need to understand like a big picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are just in the wrong place. Right.
Exactly. Or like Tiago, like I will be honest, the market in Malta, I really didn't know anything about it. And it was you guys that were saying to me a few months ago, guys, keep an eye on Malta because we're seeing more and more needs. So you need to be ahead of your game and ahead of your competition to find out, well, what countries are booming, which have low tax brackets. That means companies are going to open there. Where is the latest tech thing happening? You need to have your eye on it, because that's what keeps you ahead of your competitors.
True. You need to do like some self-reflection, understand what's going on, what's wrong, what's good, what can improve, what can do
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah,
And it comes.
absolutely. Yeah, and it will come together, but you've got to keep motivated. So that, I think that's how we leave 2023, is don't beat yourself up if you didn't achieve your goals, but do analyze the why, because the why is really important, and that allows you to step
What
into
was wrong?
2024 with a bit of
And,
knowledge.
and then you can check, look ahead, 2024, let me improve that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And closing out the year, guys, we are offering a 10% discount as part of our Christmas gift to our clients for our consulting services. And they are the ones that have traditionally been the best and most successful services for our clients. And the reason why they do so well,
Oh, sorry.
sorry,
No, just something before you close, something that I forgot.
sure.
Sometimes you go for the interview and you are not, even though like the companies are calling you and you're not performing
Hmm.
well. What's wrong sometimes? Like your speech, or like you need to
Yeah,
mirror sometimes your best friend, or talk to someone from your family, someone like close that you have confidence and you can exchange this kind of information. So this sometimes also
yeah,
very helpful, just like a
it
last tip.
is actually.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. That is actually a very, very good point.
Exactly.
Look beyond yourself for that.
Yes, if you're going for interview but you're not succeeding for anyhow, so
Yeah,
and what's wrong in your speech sometimes can be just your speech. Sorry, just
absolutely. Your body language, the delivery of your message.
yes.
No, it's a really good point. It is a really good point. So yeah, it was just to say that our consultancy packages are typically the ones that serve our clients best. They're the ones that we see the highest success rates from. And we have several, but typically they involve a call of varying lengths, where we really get to sit down with you and deep dive into your career. So what you've done, what you want, what your skills are, what have been your key achievements or projects. We overview the market with you, how to approach recruiters. We go on a job hunt with you, and we analyze analyze your performance metrics. So it's a really all-in consulting to really prepare you for the job market. So there is a 10% discount on all of our services that will be going live on our website. And so just do keep an eye out for that. And always with Storani services, you can request if there's a particular consultant that you've seen that you feel more connected to, or if you have a language preference, you really want to work with a Portuguese speaker. We also have a French speaker. We have different specialization of markets. So always feel free to put in your request if there's something specific that you need, and we will always do our best to match you with the best consultant for that service. So really, I would just like to, I guess, close the live by wishing everyone a little bit early, but a very Merry Christmas. 2023 has been a very challenging year for a lot of people for a multitude of reasons. So just
Yeah.
well done. You've made it to the end of the year. I really wish ourselves, our clients, and globally a more peaceful 2024. And I do hope a more successful year for everybody as well.
I do my words, your words.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been so good, guys. Thanks on a Monday evening at this hour of the night. It's always thank you for joining us and for giving us half an hour of your time, Tiago. Thank you for stepping in. It's been so good to chat with you tonight. And yeah, happy Christmas, guys, and a happy new year. We really hope to work with you in 2024. Take care, guys.
Bye bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.